All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris here, Better Investing. Happy Thursday. Today is February the 5th, 2026. Let's get right into the markets, right? So, yesterday I think I talked about, what did I say? I said, I wasn't too concerned if this is kind of controlled, it's kind of defined to, the AI and software sector. And the one thing we really didn't want to see here was that sell-off start to broaden out. And one day doesn't necessarily make um, it kind of confirms anything. But we did start to see that sell-off start to spill over into other sectors, right? So IGV down again another 5%. Solar kind of took a little beating today, down 4%. XLB down, almost 3%. Pretty much everything was green. Everything was red. The only thing was pretty much flat was your defensive sectors, your consumer staples, your utilities, healthcare almost flat. But a lot of things, even retail was getting hit. That's the concern I really have right now is like if this continues, to kind of sell off. But again, you look at this perspective from here. The market hasn't really done anything, since this tariff tweet from Trump back here. He said some shit. We really haven't really had a withstand of a strong trend to the upside. Comparative to like this action here off the liberations where we're just pretty much have the moving averages just parallel to each other. Up in here, a lot of crisscross applesauce. It's one of those things where almost you can ignore these moving averages for the most part and just be more concerned with like your major ones, your 50, your 100, your 200. Right now we're sitting right here at the 100-day moving average on SPY, and as I mentioned before, if we start to dabble and stay below here, all right, we just start to get candles like this and stuff, while this potentially starts to curl down. That can be a cascading effect where we could potentially come back into the 650 pocket, maybe into a rising or flattening 200, and really that's like your line in the sand before you really get a lot more chatter about a crash, or bear market type of story. I'm not there yet, but pretty nasty out there right now. Looking here at the weekly with 1 day left, right, we're coming back right near the EMA 20, something we haven't tapped since here. We'll see what happens, right? You do have this starting to curl down, hasn't crossed over yet. Remember, this is a lagging indicator using the moving averages, so you got to take that into perspective. Let me just go ahead and make sure I have this. I do want to kind of mark this gap here on SPY as well. That's a gap from on the weekly. Could we test that? I'm not going to say yes, but could it happen? Yeah, I mean, a 20% correction. Yeah, that can happen easily, or we can come back into these previous all-time highs. I'm not 100% sure, but right now, you take it day by day, what you see in the market, and things just haven't been too good. You got Amazon down again. Amazon just reported, and it's down 7% aftermarket. So a lot of nasty sell-off. If you take in consideration what happened with Google yesterday, Meta reaction earlier. Well, no, actually Meta had a good reaction, the previous one. Microsoft, Netflix, Nvidia's later on. I don't know if Oracle reported, Tesla. Right, just it's pretty nasty out there. So where we go from here, I'm not 100%. We'll go look at QQQ real fast. QQQ. QQQ very similar in terms of what you got on price action wise. I mean, just for the most part, look. I mean, just trading sideways, right? And that's kind of what you got from that date that I talked about. Like, and this is the reason why I'm marking this out. Like, this is really when like you have to start paying attention to the market in terms of like, all right, did we kind of climax, right? And then like since that day, we really haven't gone anywhere. We just traded to the top and the bottom of these ranges. So, I mean, there's a good chance that we come back and retest the bottom of these ranges. But again, same thought process as before, is that if we start to stay below the 50, it just starts to curl down, catch up, it starts to reject off of there, and then you start to look for the 200, maybe down to this 580 location, for really like a next spot. Um, but yeah, I mean overall, I mean it just doesn't look too good, right? All we did was we popped back into the closing all-time high on QQQ. We talked about that divergence in the past from what it looked like in reference to goddamn, Amazon's getting fucking obliterated, down 10% right now. We talked about the divergence that we saw on QQQ comparative to SPY, how it was leading the way down. Then to kind of get this reaction here, up here at the previous all-time highs, it kind of just roll right back over. It's not a good sign. And you add on top of that, the volume that's kind of accelerating here, to the downside, is also worthy to pay attention to. The next thing we can go to really is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is maybe getting there soon for a capitulation long. Um, I, I, I'm not 100% sure. I'd rather wait maybe for tomorrow for the cash market. I like another gap down. But really, I think I'm looking at like 57 to 50,000. I put you right here around the 200 week moving average. I think anywhere between 50 and 57,000, you could probably really see a bigger bounce. But I got to keep looking at this down 10%. I'm long Amazon long term, but my cost base is like 120 ish. But that's pretty fucking bad. But yeah, it's not the best that you see right now in the market, honestly. Um, yeah, not much to say. You had silver, gap down today, and that's the thing again. Like, I wouldn't say I try to tell people, but like, if you've been here before, you heard me mention like, really like, if you want to be a part of this, like, if you look at it, like even from a daily chart, like these are the areas where you want to get involved at, and trying to catch the backside of a move and hoping that it's going to leg higher. No, just go back and back test that. You'll see it's just not a really good hit rate on things like that. Like we go look at NBIS for example. Like this is one where like I was just not too sure if this was something I thought that could get back to these previous highs. Considering how this looked here. I know one actually did work out was this Bloom Energy. This Bloom Energy had a nasty sell off, right? From 147 down to 75, and actually came back and hit all time highs again. But it started to roll over again. But it was a good trade if you were to get involved with it. But just overall, those type of backside trades, like after it's done, it needs to kind of just digest, consolidate, right? Like, again, backside after a big sell-off like that on Meta, it's really challenging to take those type of trades. Like you look at Nvidia, for example, right? Backside, right? You're thinking it's gonna, I don't know, but yeah, just not the best scenario on the market right now. Honestly, for me, I had a fantastic day. Um, I stopped trading a little bit earlier, around like 11:30. Did some work, got back on, found a couple more good setups that I was able to get on Tesla, SNDK. Tesla is really good one for me. I'll kind of walk through where I got on this at. And the one thing I noticed is like when you get like these type of environments, a lot of people like to short the bottoms. I actually bought it in the morning at like 396. Peeled some off and got stopped out on the rest. And I noticed it kind of struggle up here at the 400 location. I was able to get back involved on this right up in here. Then I added some more right here and got a nice move down. And I did not close this until the runners on this until this candle here. I just kind of let it work off the 5 minute higher trend, right? The 5 minute, it's making lower lows and lower highs, and very similar again. I'm just not talking to toot my horn here, but look at this candle after hours, right? Pop right back into this 40118, right? And I have marked out as the high from earlier this morning was no 401 no 15. So um, yeah, I mean, just kind of nasty. SNDK was another one. I had a good trade on. I took this shirt early in the morning after it rolled over. I think it was 590. I got it in somewhere around like 598. Had had a good amount of shares. Got a nice move down, and then I caught some back up in this pop right here. And again, you don't need a lot of shares with this stock here. And I was able to kind of just ride this down on the shares I had, and that really kind of made my day with this move here. But again, like on SNDK, like it moves so freaking much. You don't need a lot of shares, but if you're able to get some size and have a good tight stop, you get a move. That can end up working in your favor. And I think for me, like really, what's been hoping is I've been holding on to my winners a little bit longer right now, before I decide to kind of initially take my pills. And I've noticed that in my profit factor. I'm damn near a 3x, 4x my profit factor. I'm seeing 6 to 12 on my profit factor. That's like a 6 to 1 R, a 12 to 1 R. On the trades that I take on the day. So I'm really really proud of that for the most part. So again, good day traders market for the most part. I would say. Looking at VIX. Not 100% sure if we're at areas now that we want to kind of, you know, look for a fade on VIX. I mean, VIX was kind of compressed up here at 13, and now it's just, just peaking higher. If we get up into the 30s, you probably look for a blow off, or we get back below 20. You might look for some type of reversion. But with VIX this elevated, I wouldn't bet on a reversal that's withstand that holds up until you start to see this kind of fade off as well. But yeah, man, I mean, that's really about it, man. That's all I got for you guys. Again, it's a day traders market. That's something I really I feel as though I navigate well in during volatility, and I think the reason why is because I've been really good at cutting my losers very very quick, and being okay with re-entering at good opportunities, and then letting the trade work, right, trimming it off and putting break even stops. Right, not letting trades really go back red after I done trimmed, and then just trailing the move down. With this volatility, you're going to get crazy pops and crazy drops. You can definitely take advantage of that. If you're able to execute fairly quickly. I think that's the biggest thing I'll take away right now in the market is trimming fast, right, when you not necessarily when you see green, but letting the trade work and taking some off, and then just managing the rest of the position, because things can reverse quickly, as I mentioned before, and you don't want to get caught on that back end of a big push up or a big push down. So just be mindful of that. So I have a watch list I've been building with earnings, right, and today's earnings, we'll go take a look. Right, this is stocks that are above 500 million, and we got this down 27%. Roblox up 22%. Interesting. See if this holds. Looking at some more Amazon, could start to reverse. Reddit 5.5%. Let's look at what's out there, folks. But yeah, tomorrow's Friday. I'm green on the week. I'm green on the month. I'm green on the year. I'm green last month. Honestly, probably one of the best trading. How can I say this? I've had 3 losing trading days. I had 3 trading losing days this year, and that was a total of, I want to say, $80 one day, 150 to 120, then like another $150. Been able to keep my losses relatively small, and that's been helpful. So I know things will change. I'm looking at my equity curve, and I see that it is getting a little long in the tooth in terms of parabolic, right? And I know that it will come revert to its mean. But something that I mentioned that a goal for me this year is that I want my drawdowns to be representative of my trading style and not necessarily my emotions and my psychology with trading. And that's the part that I'm really concerned with. That's really like what's hitting home for me is being aware of my equity curve and not necessarily the P&L. And I think I posted a quote in the Discord I'm in, and I said, I'll bring it up real fast. Um, if I can find it, let me go to my quotes. Let me go to my quotes. Hold on. All right. So what I said was, great traders are not defined by how high the curve goes. They are defined by how shallow the pullbacks are. Manage the equity curve, the money will follow. And that's something I'm trying to really pay attention to is my equity curve, um, and being a manager of that for the most part, right? I think it's something that's important. Like when you go look at your equity curve, right? Does it look like this, right? Or does it look like this, right? And this is the one that I'm really paying attention to. That's what really matters to me is the equity curve like that, where yeah, it's higher highs and higher lows, very very similar to a chart, right? But what I don't want is that, right? I don't want these cascading sharp drops, right? If it's a drawdown, I want it to be, representative of just my natural trading style, and I want it to be something where it's doing this, right? And then okay, yeah, I'm drawing down, right? But it's not sharp, right? That's what I'm really trying to avoid here, and and um, being mindful of that, right? Because it comes with trading that you're not always just going to make money. There's going to be periods and pockets where you lose money, but what really really good traders are able to do is manage those drawdowns. So. Um, but yeah, man, that's really about all. I talked about I had Zcash. I bought it off the 200. I had bought it in Coinbase at 290 something. I cut it yesterday, around like 259 as it closed below the 200. I was looking for a hold of the 200. I think I bought it. Actually, I bought it on Saturday, at like two. And I was like, it's close enough to the 200. And I say if it closes below 200, I get rid of it. And I got rid of it. I just again, I don't like the color red in my portfolio for trades. I was treating it as a trade. Investments totally different. And honestly, my investments, I mean, a lot of stocks, I mean, they fucking literally just round trip. UiPath. Only thing I did good on that was sell the $20 calls and lower my cost basis. But this is pretty much near my cost basis. I'm not going to sell it. I have a bigger picture on this. I know the market's doing what it's doing right now. But it is what it is. But I do want to tap my back or tap. Yeah, I'm in this HE. I talked about this HE for a while. It's something that I bought. I have like a $10 cost basis on it, up 70% right now. I might end up selling this, and taking that profit. Um, you know, collect some cash. So I can have some cash for this downturn. Moderna was one that is one that I'm still in. I'm up about 36% still on this. I think I'm gonna hold this through earnings to see what happens. My cost base is around like 27. I was DCAing in this entire ride down. Uh, pretty solid position on this. We'll see what happened. Uber, I bought more Uber yesterday. Pre-market, right after the bell. I mean, right after earnings, I got in. I bought shares at $70 on the nail. Didn't think they got an upgrade from J.P. Morgan. It didn't get popped into 79. This is my first time buying some since I bought some back December of 2024. right? And then I bought some more during Liberation. So this is like my third time buying um, on that. So I am in. I have all my Substack posts here. I'm in on still in on Sweet Green. It doesn't look good. I just closed my covered call on BBAI. I had the $12 for June, and they were trading like 11 cents, and I closed those out. Still have the shares. Been DCing into Adobe. I think I'm done for the month. I think I put enough money in for it this month. CNC. I just cut CNC today. Wow, great fucking timing. Yeah, got rid of CNC today. Looks like they just had earnings. I'm not sure. It's down 7% aftermarket. I literally just cut that for the end of the day. St- GitLab, I'm still in. CarMax, I'm still in. I'm not in Riskified. Thinking about buying IoT. I've been sold. This U is something I'm thinking about entering soon. Man, that's really about it right now. Um, yeah, these aren't active trades. These are things I was looking at. I know I had traded this back here, and got stopped out. Uh, was it Riot? I think I did trade Riot. Um, it was, I think it was here, somewhere around. No, I think it was like this day or something. But I got stopped out on that the next day. But yeah, probably could start cleaning up a lot of these lists here. But yeah, but yeah, and interesting market that we're in, right? I don't know if this is still following seasonality, but just golly, let's talk about getting fucking smoked. Yeah, again, that's why I say like I'd rather be a part of this move here and not trying to catch the back end of this move. And that's the thing. Like, and that's the part I really want to pay attention to. Like, I'd rather be a part of this move and not this move. That's something I just always talk. I felt like I kept preaching. And I just felt like those were harder to speak to. You know, those back end moves are just I don't know. They just seem like they're much tougher. All right, man. That's all I got for you today. Peace. God bless.